Good morning and welcome. My name is Nina and I'm a yoga teacher here at Tru3 Yoga. And today I'll be offering a hips and hamstrings class. It's my regularly scheduled Sunday evening class at 5:30 at Tru3 Yoga here in Ras Salmiya, Block 1. So if you've never joined one of my classes, I welcome you. And if this is your first time ever trying a hips and hamstrings class, I offer that you just take your time with it and just kind of breathe your way into the postures, to settle into them and to utilize the breath throughout the entire movement. So we'll be working on front splits today, or working our way up to front splits. So I recommend that you do have yoga blocks and maybe a blanket to put underneath of your knees. If you don't have yoga blocks, maybe you can grab some books and stack them on top of each other to give yourself a little bit of height when you're holding yourself in some of these postures so that you don't have to go as deep, okay? And when you're practicing what we call hip opening, you can't really open your hips, but that's what we do call the postures, as hip opening postures. Sometimes some things can come up for you, whether that's physically, mentally, or emotionally. Sometimes your thoughts start to wander. Sometimes it can be very physically challenging. So there's a few things that you can do. You can either choose to observe what's happening in your body, what's happening in your mind. You can try to breathe through those sensations, utilizing deep, even inhales and exhales. Or if it just becomes too much for you, you can always make your way out of the posture and into child's pose, bringing your hips back to your heels, walking your hands out in front of you, and releasing your head down. So you decide what works best for you. Take your time, settle into the breath, nice deep even inhales and exhales. And this class will be 60 minutes. So we'll get started. So you can either sit in a comfortable seated position, whether that's sitting in Virasana, sitting on top of your heels, or you can come into Siddhasana or Sukhasana, a cross-legged position, whichever works best for you. On whichever of these postures, you can sit with a neutral spine and neutral pelvis, meaning that your pelvis is shifted anteriorly to the front a little bit. If you're rocking back on your tailbone, you can always sit on some books or sit on top of a blanket or sit on the edge of a blanket. So you'll choose which of these postures feels more comfortable for you and which you can settle into for a few moments. So you can keep the eyes softly open, gazing at the tip of your nose or down towards the floor, or you can close the eyes to center, to begin to come into the breath, just allowing the arms to drop from the sockets. Palms are resting on either the thighs or the knees. The palms can either be facing up or down. You decide what feels right for you. And keeping the chin parallel with the floor. Rooting through your sits bones. Crown of the head is reaching up to the ceiling. Inhaling and lengthening, and exhaling and relaxing into this comfortable seated position. Beginning to draw the awareness from outward to inward, inhaling through the nose, and exhaling through either the mouth or the nose, whichever feels more natural, easy, and comfortable for you. Inhaling all the way up to the top of the inhales, and exhaling all the way down to the bottom of the exhales. Softening the abdomen on the inhales, and noticing a gentle contraction on the exhales. Just following the breath as it moves in and out. Bringing your awareness to the breath. Releasing the jaw, making sure that there's teeth in between the molars, the back teeth. And just noticing if the tongue is stuck to the roof of the mouth, and if it is. Releasing the tongue to the bottom back portion of the mouth. Softening the lips, the muscles of the face, the eyelids. And then shifting the awareness from the breath to the body. And just noticing how the body feels today. You can scan over the body, moving your mental awareness from the crown of the head down to the tips of the toes, or from the tips of the toes to the crown of the head. Just making note of any places, spaces, or masses within the body where you notice tension or tightness or imbalance. Paying particular attention to 3 regions of the body where we tend to hold on to tension. And that's in the shoulder girdle, so the neck and the shoulders, the diaphragm, the muscle that helps us to breathe fully and deeply. It sits at the base of the lungs and in between the ribs. And in the pelvic region, so the hips, the lower back, the inner and the outer thighs, the hamstrings, the quadriceps. Just kind of notice what's happening in these parts of the body. Being aware of the right half of the body and the left half of the body, and noticing if there's any imbalance between those 2 halves. And then taking the awareness from the body to the mind. And just asking yourself, how am I today? Being aware of what thoughts have moved through the mind, what thoughts have lingered throughout the day, any emotions that you've experienced. Just being aware. And then allowing yourself to let go of those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions, and bringing the awareness back to the breath, back to the inhales and back to the exhales. Setting an intention for your practice, if you so choose, whether that's mental, physical, or emotional. And just repeating that intention to yourself 3 times. Breathing life into that intention. Allowing yourself to carry that intention with you throughout the practice. 5 more conscious breaths. Bringing the hands together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Palms touching and thumbs gently grazing over the breastbone. And we'll open our practice with Om, so you can join in or sit quietly. The choice is yours. So you can just take a conscious breath in and out, or you can actually join in with Om. So preparing with a breath in and out. And inhaling and exhaling Om. Om. And we'll begin our physical practice on your back. So just shifting onto your side, rolling yourself back. You can keep the left leg bent here as you extend the right heel up to the ceiling, holding on to either the back of the thigh or the back of the calf, and pointing the toes down towards your face here. So just feeling a nice extension through the hamstring here. If you're feeling any discomfort in the back of the knee joint, then you can slightly bend the knee here. Keep drawing the toes towards the face. We're not trying to overstretch here, keeping the shoulders relaxed or back on the mat. The hips stay down on the mat. And you can start to circle the ankle around here, circling it in both directions, and then pointing and flexing the foot here. Really drawing those toes down towards the face. And releasing, drawing the knee into the chest, holding onto the shin, pulling the knee in. Remembering the breaths here. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through either the mouth or the nose. 2 more breaths here. And now extending the left leg down, keeping the heel on the floor, and allowing that right knee to and shoulders connected to the mat. 5 breaths here. And just feeling that release through the right inner thigh, keeping that left leg active, toes pointing up to the ceiling. 1 more breath. Inhaling the knee center, and now crossing that right knee over the body towards the left side of the mat, keeping both of the shoulders connected to the earth. You can pop up a little bit on that left hip if that feels right for you. 3 more breaths here. Inhaling back to the center and releasing that right knee down to the floor, extending the left leg up, heel up to the ceiling, holding on to the back of the left thigh or the back of the left calf, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Slightly bending the knee if you need to and drawing the toes towards the face. Keep both of the shoulders and the hips connected to your mat. 1 more breath here. You can circle out those ankles, pointing and flexing your foot. And then bending the knee into the chest. Drawing the left knee in. You can keep the toes flexed here. And 1 more breath. And extending that right leg out, taking the hips to the floor and allowing that left knee to fall out to the left, keeping both hips and shoulders connected. Just feeling a nice release through that left inner thigh. Keep the right leg active, knee and toes pointing up to the ceiling. Inhale the knee back to the center and begin to cross that left leg over to the right side of the body. Keep 2 more breaths. Nice deep even inhales and exhales. Inhale, knees back to the center. Draw that left knee in, and now bring in the right in. Knees around to massage out the lower back. So it's as if you're trying to draw a circle on the ceiling with your knees and then changing directions and going the other way. Good, rolling yourself all the way over to one side, using your arms for support, and gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. We'll start out with Janu Shirshasana here. So extending your left leg out in front of you and bringing the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. Your sits bones are connected to the mat, so you're making sure that you're not leaning to one side, one of your sits bones is not popping up, both of your butt cheeks are planted firmly on the floor, and you're externally rotating that right thigh, so you're actively engaging your muscles to press the thigh and the knee down towards the floor, keeping your left foot active, knee and toes pressing up to the ceiling. Inhaling and taking the arms up, and exhaling and reaching above your toes here. So we're not trying to touch the toes. Your focus is to draw the abdomen down to the upper thigh. Good, take another breath here. Keep the spine nice and long, and then just release the hands to either side of the leg and really focus on drawing down the belly button, the ribs, the chest, and then the chin, keeping the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Nice long spine for 2 more breaths. Another deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly walking the hands back, switching to the other side, extending that right leg out, drawing the sole of the left foot in to the right thigh. So you're bringing the heel in, keeping both of the feet active, and you're trying to turn your belly button over top of that right knee. So make sure both of your sit bones are level on the floor and that you're externally rotating that right thigh, pressing the thigh and the knee down towards the floor. Inhaling and taking the arms up, and exhaling, reaching above the toes. Keep the spine nice and long. You're not collapsing in the shoulders, but you're keeping a nice open chest here. Release the hands down to either side of the leg. Inhale and lengthen through your spine. And begin to draw down the belly button, the ribs, the chest, and then the chin. You can walk your hands forward a little more if that feels right for you. 2 more breaths here. Keep the feet active, especially that left foot to protect your left knee. 1 more breath here. And inhaling and slowly rising up, extending the left leg out. So you can keep your feet together here for a forward fold, or you can have the feet so that they're hip width apart. If you're like me and you've had multiple children, having the feet together is not comfortable on the hips, so you can separate the feet if that feels good for you. Keeping the knees and the toes pointing up to the ceiling. If you hyperextend through the knee joints, or if you're feeling any pain back here, you can take a blanket or a towel or a t-shirt and roll that up and place it underneath of the knees to give you a little bit more stability in the knee joints here. So again, you want your sits bones nice and level on the floor, spine is nice and long. Inhale, take the arms up, and exhale, begin to fold forward, hinging forward at the waist, reaching above your toes here, not collapsing through the shoulders or dropping the head, but keeping a nice long spine here. Inhale again. And as you exhale, release the hands down to either leg, drawing down your belly button towards your thighs, then the ribs, then the chest and the chin. You can walk the hands forward a little more if that feels comfortable for you, and then just drop the head down here. Only going as deep into your forward fold as you can keep the thighs active. So think of drawing your thigh muscles up and away from your kneecaps, keeping the heels connected to the earth. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more breath. Inhaling and rising. We're making our way onto all fours. So swinging your feet around behind you, drawing the knees underneath of the hips, And the hands or the wrists underneath of the shoulders. So your knees are about hip width apart and your hands are about shoulder width apart here. Spreading your fingers and pressing the fingertips down into the floor. So the hands are not completely flat on the floor. You're kind of lifting right through the center of the hand here. So the heel of the hand is connected and all of the little fingertips pressing down into the mat, wrist under the shoulders. For some cat-cows here. So you're lengthening through your spine, nice neutral pelvis, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, round through your spine, drop your chin, look back. Inhaling and lengthening, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, round through your spine. Think of drawing your hips, your hip bones, and your ribs together. Inhale and lengthen. Good. 3 more at your own pace, with your own breath. Rounding through your spine, looking back. And inhaling, but keeping that abdomen engaged as you lengthen. Good, 1 more here. Back to neutral, tucking your toes for downward facing dog here. So lifting the hips up and back, pressing the floor away, dropping the head down, pressing the chest back towards the upper thighs. You do not need to have the heels touch here. The heels can be lifted. Your focus is on lifting the hips high and pressing up and out through your shoulders. So you can slightly bend your knees here if you need to. Drawing your thigh muscles up and away from the kneecaps. Nice deep even inhales and exhales for 2 more breaths. Just feeling that release through your hamstrings, lengthening of the spine. 1 more breath here. Making sure that the feet are hip width apart, hands are shoulder width apart. Can step the feet together here and take the right heel up to the ceiling with the knee and the toe pointing down. Keep your armpits facing down towards your mat so you're into one shoulder and flex those toes down towards the mat. 2 more breaths. And then release the right foot down. Taking the left heel up towards the ceiling. Keep that back knee and toe pointing down. Keep the armpits level to the mat. One more breath here. And slowly release the left foot down, dropping onto the knees and beginning to circle the pelvis around as if you were trying to draw a circle on the mat with your belly button. Just releasing the muscles that support the pelvis. Changing directions. Inhaling as you move forward and exhaling as you move back. You might get some little pops in there as you get some more movements in the pelvis. 1 more time around and settling yourself back into child's pose, bringing your hips to your heels, walking your hands out and releasing your head down for 5 breaths. Keep walking your fingertips forward, hips back, lengthening through your spine. Inhaling and rising up onto all fours, drawing the wrists back underneath of the shoulders, untucking the toes and pressing, or tucking the toes and pressing the hips back, downward facing dog for 5 breaths. You can pedal the feet back and forth here, Lengthening through your spine, pressing the heels down towards the mat. One more breath. Inhaling and looking forward and beginning to walk your feet up towards your hands, walking the feet up to the top of the mat. Halfway lifting and lengthening, taking the hands to the shin, straightening the arms, drawing the shoulders back, crown of the head is reaching forward. Nice long spine here. Exhale, fold forward, release the hands and the head down. So the feet can be together or hip width apart. You decide, grabbing onto opposite elbows here and allowing the weight of the body to move towards the balls of the feet here. You can slightly bend the knees if you need to, but just allowing the head and the arms to hang nice and heavy. You can shake your head, nod your head here. Can gently sway from side to side, just recognizing what feels good for you here. One more breath. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhaling and folding forward here, releasing hands and head down. Rooting through your heels, rising all the way up, nice and tall here. Fingertips come up to the ceiling. And exhaling, the hands to the heart. Good, we'll begin our little flow here. Inhaling, taking the arms up, fingertips come up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward, release the hands and the head down. You can slightly bend the knees if you need to. Halfway lifting and lengthening, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head moving forward. Exhaling and planting your hands on the ground. We're coming into our first standing split. So shifting your body weight into your left leg and taking that right heel up as high as you can with the back knee and the toe pointing down. So a proper standing split here. So you're not opening up through the hips, you're keeping the knee and the toe pointing down. Drawing your belly button down towards your upper thigh. 2 more breaths here. So feeling that engagement of your left hamstring here. 1 more breath. Slowly releasing the right foot down to the floor, slightly bending into that left knee as you need to for a low lunge here. So dropping your back knee down towards the mat. Inhale, take the fingertips up here. And then we'll draw the hips back to come into a more proper lunge here to really release through that right hip flexor and quad. So you want to keep your 3 hip bones or your 3 hip points. So your hips, your hip bones, and your pubic symphysis are going to stay in one line. So as you start to shift your hips forward, your hips come in front of your pubic symphysis. We want to try and keep them on the same level for this first one. So you'll just kind of feel your 2 hip bones, your pubic symphysis right at the bottom portion of the pelvis in the front, and then keep shifting forward, making sure that you keep those 3 points in one line. If you notice that they come out of line, then you'll come back out of it. You'll back yourself out of that lunge just a little bit. Keep drawing the left hip back, feeling that nice release through the right hamstring, or as you were, the right quad and hip flexor. Should feel a little something maybe in your left hamstring. It really just depends on where you hold on to tension or tightness. 1 more breath here. And now you can begin to sink into that deeper lunge if you like. Just making sure that you keep some knee and heel alignment. So you can use blocks underneath of your hands, lengthening through your spine, pressing the palms or the fingertips into the block. You decide which feels better for you, but just making sure that the shoulders are relaxed. You can keep the back toe tucked under, or you can release it, whichever feels better for you. 1 more breath. And now shifting back into half Hanumasana here. So bringing the hips back over top of that back knee, flexing your front toes so that the knee and toe are pressing up towards the ceiling. You can walk the blocks back or your hands back underneath of the shoulders. Slightly bending that front knee if you need to, if you're finding any discomfort in the back of the knee joint. And keep pulling your left hip back. So it's kind of like you're digging the left heel into the floor, the toes stay active, and you're drawing your left hip back here. One more breath. Shifting your body weight forward again, coming into your lunge. We're going to take it back up to our standing split. You can use the blocks underneath of your hands if you like. Tuck the back toe under. Lift your back knee, step yourself forward here, taking that right heel up to the ceiling. Back knee and toe are pointing down, 5 breaths. Drawing down the belly button, the ribs, the chest, and the chin towards that left thigh. You can even take the left hand to the back of the left calf and ankle to draw the chest in closer. One more breath here. And slowly releasing the right leg down to meet the left. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Root through your heels. Rise up nice and strong here, engaging through your glutes. Palms come together at the top. And exhale, hands to heart. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward, release hands and head down to the floor. Halfway lift and lengthen. Hands to shins, draw the shoulders back. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Shift your body weight into that right leg, grounding through your right foot, and begin to take the left heel up to the ceiling, back knee and toe pointing down. You can always put blocks underneath of your hands if you need to. Feeling that release and strength of your right hamstring. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. Keep lifting that left heel up. And then slowly release the left foot down to the floor. Low lunge. Dropping the back knee down. Drawing the hips back. Making one little line from the 2 hips to your pubic symphysis, so keeping them in line. Drawing that right hip back, and then just begin to sink the hips very slightly, but keeping that pubic symphysis and hip alignment. Once you start to feel the hip bones go in front of the pubic symphysis, you'll stop. Keep the spine nice and long here to release through that left hip flexor and quadricep. Two more breaths here. Keep drawing the right hip back. Spine is nice and long, shoulders are dropped away from the ears. And then begin to sink your hips if that feels right for you. Just making sure that you keep that heel and knee alignment. So the knee can go a little in front of the ankle, but trying not to take the knee too far in front of the toes. You can always use blocks under your hands here. One more breath. And then grabbing onto your blocks or your books for half Hanumasana. Shifting your hips back over top of that back knee. Straightening the front leg as much as possible. You can keep the knees slightly bent here if that feels right for you. Toe and knee pressing up towards the ceiling. Drawing the belly button down towards the upper thigh. Pressing the right heel into the floor and drawing that right hip back. Two more breaths here. Nice long spine. Draw the hands or the blocks back underneath of the shoulders. Make sure you're not collapsing here. Keep everything nice and active and long. We're trying to create space for the breath. Good. Shift your body weight back into that lunge. So you're shifting the body weight forward. You can use your blocks or release them. The hands come to the floor, frame the front foot. Turn the back toe under, lift the back knee. Step it forward a bit if you need to. Ground through that right heel. Come back into your standing split. Left heel comes up to the ceiling. And again, you can take that right hand to the back of the right calf or ankle, drawing the belly button, the ribs, the chest, and the chin closer to that upper thigh. Lifting the left heel up as high as you can with that back knee and toe pointing down. If you're feeling really strong today, you can see if you can balance here, taking both hands to the back of the calf. Just doing what feels right for you. One more breath. And exhale, release that left foot down to meet the right. Halfway lifting and lengthening, drawing the shoulders back, nice long spine. Exhale, fold forward, release your hands and head down. Inhale, rise, nice and strong, pressing through your heels. Palms come together at the top. And exhale, hands to heart. Good, inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold forward here, release hands and head down. Halfway lifting and lengthening. We're not going to hold our standing split. We're just going to take the heel up. So shift your body weight into that left leg. Take the right heel up as high as you can. Toe and knee pointing down. Exhale, release the foot behind you. Low lunge. Drop the back knee down. Keep the right hand to the inside of the left foot and extend the left fingertips up to the ceiling here. Nice closed twist, pressing through that right shoulder. And if it feels right for you, you can drop the left hand behind the back into the crease of the right hip. Keep turning the shoulder and the elbow back. One more breath. Inhale, take the fingertips up. Exhale, that left hand down to the inside of the left foot. You can walk your left foot off to the left side of your mat for lizard pose here, keeping the back knee on the floor, or you can lift the back knee here. Making sure that you keep that left knee and heel alignment. We don't want the knee too far in front of the toes, maybe in the middle of the foot, right over the heel or a little bit behind, pressing the hands into the floor here. I'm going to take this a little bit deeper, create some space in the hips. So lifting the hips up, straighten both of your legs, rise up onto the ball of the back foot and on the heel of the front foot. Really push the floor away. And then sink the hips. Yes. Create some space here. Inhale. One more time. Inhale, lift it up. Create some space here. Really push the floor away. And then exhale, re-sink the hips. You can always drop that back knee to the floor if you need to. If you'd like to take this deeper, you can come down onto the forearms, if that feels right for you. You can stay up onto the hands, or you can always use your blocks or your books to rest your forearms on. You want the sole of the left foot to stay on the floor here. Pulling the left hip back, staying nice and engaged here. Long spine, shoulders away from the ears. 2 more breaths. Good, dropping that back knee down to the floor, pressing yourself back up. If it feels okay for you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, adding in a quad stretch, you can shift your hips back, take the right hand back to the right foot, draw your heel in towards your buttocks, and sink your hips forward here for a quad stretch. You can always use a block underneath of the hand, or you can rest the left forearm on the top of the left thigh. You should not be on your kneecap here. You're kind of more so on the top meaty portion of the thigh above the kneecap here. So if this does not feel right for you, you can always just release the foot down and you can stay in that lizard with the back knee on the floor. So wherever you are, just feeling that release, settling into the breath, and then releasing the foot to the floor, taking the hands to the floor, walking your left foot back onto the mat, framing your front foot, tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee. We're going back into our standing split, so you can step that foot forward, find your balance first, and then take the right heel up to the ceiling just for a breath, and then release it down to meet the left. Halfway lifting and lengthening. Exhale, fold it forward. Ground through your heels. Inhale, rise. Palms come together at the top. And exhale, the hands to the heart. Other side. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Release your hands and your head down. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Shift your body weight into that right leg and take the left heel up. Remember, we're not holding, we're just taking it here. Grounding through that right foot. And then release the left foot down to the floor. Dropping the back knee down. Inhale. Take the arms up. And exhale. Take that left hand down to the inside of the right foot. The right fingertips come up to the ceiling for a closed twist here. Bringing the hand, dropping the hand behind the back and into the crease of the left hip, turning that shoulder and elbow back. You can keep the neck in line with the spine, or you can look back over the right shoulder if that feels right for you. Keep drawing the right hip back. Inhale that right arm up. And release the right hand down to the inside of the right foot. Take the right foot and wiggle it off to the right side of your mat here for lizard pose. Tucking the back toe under and lifting the back knee. Keep the right sole of the foot on the floor. Draw the right hip back. Being mindful of that heel and knee alignment, really pressing the floor away. Back leg is straight and strong. You're on the ball of the foot, lifting the kneecap up and away from the floor. We're going to take that a little bit further. So lifting the hips up, straightening both of your legs, rising up on the ball of the back foot, and on the heel of the front foot, and then re-sink the hips down to the floor, creating a little bit more space here. Coming back to the breath, back to your intention, as we sink deeper into the posture. One more time. Inhale, lift the hips up, straighten both of the legs, rise up nice and tall. And then exhale, re-sink yourself back into your lizard pose, drawing that right hip back, making sure that the sole of the right foot is on the floor. And then you can take it deeper into your lizard in whichever version works for you. Either bringing the forearms down onto the floor, staying up on the hands, or you can always use blocks or books. 5 breaths here. Keeping the sole of the foot on the floor. Try to keep the spine nice and long, shoulders away from the ears. Keep lifting that back knee, or you can always drop the back knee down to the floor. Slowly releasing the knee down, removing your blocks. And for those of you that want to take this a little bit deeper, you can add in that quad stretch, or you can stay here in this modified lizard with the back knee down. So if you want to take it deeper, shift your hips back, plant your right hand right in the center of your mat, take the left hand back, grabbing onto the top of the foot and re-sinking the hips here. You can always use a block underneath of that right shoulder, or you can take the right forearm to the top of the right thigh, drawing the heel into the buttocks. Making sure that you're not on your left kneecap, that you're kind of rolling over the kneecap and you're more so on the top meaty portion of the thigh. One more breath here. And slowly releasing the foot down, bringing both hands back to the floor, walking that right foot back to the center of your mat, framing your right foot, tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, coming back into your standing split on the right. Nice deep inhale and exhale. And exhale the left foot down to meet the right. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Engage through your glutes, root through your heels, stand it up nice and tall. Palms come together. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the right foot back. Low lunge. We're going to start working our way into our split or Hanumasana. So grabbing onto your blocks or your books, we're in our low lunge here. With that knee and ankle alignment, again, you can take the knee forward just a little bit, but trying not to take it too far over the toes and keeping it there. Exhale the hips back, half Hanumasana, flex your front foot. And we're just going to keep rocking it forward and backward from our lunge into our half Hanumasana. Just preparing the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the quadriceps to slide into our split, our front split here. So just seeing what feels good for you. You can hold any of these postures, inhaling as you take it into your lunge and exhaling as you take it into your half Hanumasana. Keep drawing that left hip back in both your lunge and your half Hanumasana. And whenever you feel ready, bring it back into half Hanumasana. Draw your blocks or your hands underneath of the shoulders, and you're sliding your front foot forward into your split. So you'll kind of walk your blocks with you as you go. Slide the front heel forward. Try to keep your hips parallel to the front of your mat and your front foot flexed. Now, maybe last week or the last time that you tried this, you were able to go fully down into the split. Just listen to your body today. Sometimes it's a full split, sometimes it's not. See where you are. Relax through your shoulders and breathe into that release. We're going to be here for about 10 breaths. For those of you that feel like you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, what you can do here is tuck your back toe under, lift your back knee, and rock yourself forward and backward on the front heel and the ball of the back foot. What we're doing here is creating space, releasing your hamstring, your hip flexor, and your quad. We're kind of creating tension to allow you to sink deeper. So we create that tension to also release the muscles. And then you can see if you can maybe take it a little bit deeper. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. 5 more breaths. Just seeing where you are today. Keep the back knee and toe pointing down towards the mat. Keep drawing that left hip back. 3 more breaths. Again, just kind of recognizing what comes up for you. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Sometimes there's a lot of things going on in the mind and the body. Refocusing the awareness on the inhales and on the exhales. Planting your hands, shifting your body weight into that back knee, and drawing that left heel back, coming back into your half Hanumasana. You can hold it here for a breath if you need to, or you can just take the left foot, keep drawing it back, bringing the left knee to meet the right, Pressing yourself into downward facing dog, so making sure that the wrists are under the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back here, lengthen through the spine, and you can pedal the feet out here. 5 breaths. Dropping and lifting one heel, then the other. 2 more breaths here. And then we'll walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Feet come up to the hands. Halfway lifting and lengthening, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold it forward. And now we're working on the other side. So stepping the left foot back into your low lunge, dropping the back knee down, being mindful of that heel and knee alignment, using your blocks if you need to. And then shifting your hips back into that half Hanumasana. Inhaling and taking the hips forward. Exhale, take it back. Good. Making sure that you're drawing that right hip back. In the lunge and in your half Hanumasana, you can always take the blocks back underneath of your shoulders, or you can keep them a little bit forward, depending on what feels more comfortable for you. Nice long spine. Just preparing for your full split on the right leg, being mindful of any little subtle differences between the left half of the body and the right. So you may be a little bit better on your left or your right, and that's perfectly fine. We all have imbalances in the body, so just being mindful of that. And then whenever you feel ready, shifting your hips back into your half Hanumasana, and then sliding that right heel forward whenever you're ready. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, and again, just being mindful of how deeply you go. You should be able to breathe fully and deeply. The breath should not get stuck. And again, not worrying about how your split looked the last time you tried it, but focusing on where you are today, how your body feels today, how your mind is today. Maybe the mind is a little cluttered, maybe the heart feels a little heavy, and that can have effects on the physical body. Drawing the toes back towards the face. Again, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can lift the back knee with the toes tucked and shift yourself forward from that front heel, ball of the back foot to see if you can go just a little bit deeper as you create some tension in the hamstring and the quads. And then sometimes that allows us to relax a little deeper or to go a little deeper into the posture. Not today on my right. So breathing nice and freely. 4 more breaths here. And then whenever you feel like you're ready to come out, dropping your back knee, sliding that right heel back. You can hold it in that half Hanumasana for a breath. And then whenever you're ready, sliding that right heel back, bringing the right knee to meet the left, planting your hands under the shoulders, tucking the toes, downward facing dog, pedaling the feet back and forth here. 5 breaths. Just being aware momentarily of sensations. And then allowing yourself to let go of that, coming back to your intention and coming back to the breath. Inhaling to all fours. Bring the knees together. And then we're dropping the hips from side to side here. On the exhale, drop the hip to the left as deeply as feels good for you. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling over to the opposite side. 2 more on each side. One more on each side. Inhaling back up to the top, separating the knees so that they're hip width apart, and beginning to make some figure 8s here. So the English number 8s or the infinity symbol. Just making those spirals with the shoulders and with the hips. Allowing yourself to let go. You can let the head loll from side to side. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Settling into that breath. And then change directions, go the other way. On this next exhale, taking the hips back to the heels. Child's pose, walking the hands out and releasing the head down, 5 breaths. If you need a little bit of a release, you can bring the palms together, pressing the elbows into the floor, and bring the thumbs to the back of the neck, especially if you feel any tension in the triceps or the shoulders. Inhaling and releasing the hands back to the floor. Rising up onto all fours, we'll thread the needle here. Pulling the right towards the shoulders. Take the right arm out to the side and then release the back of the right hand underneath of the left shoulder, releasing the right shoulder and the side of the face to the floor here. Keep pushing your left hip and right hip to the back side of the mat here. You can walk those left fingertips up overhead here for a little bit more side body lengthening, or if you feel like you need to release the shoulders, then you can take that left hand, fingertips up to the ceiling, and bring the hand into the crease of the right hip. Really just depends on what's most comfortable for you. 2 more breaths here. Sliding that left hand back in front of the face, pressing up and out through that left shoulder. Bring the right hand back out to the side, and then release it down to the floor. Same thing on the other side. Inhale the left arm out. Bring the back of that hand to the floor, sliding it underneath of the right armpit. Release the left shoulder and the side of the face down. Keep pulling both of the hips to the back side of the mat. You can keep the right hand in front of the face. Walking it overhead, really pulling that right hip back, or you can bring the fingertips up to the ceiling and into the crease of the left hip, turning the shoulder and the elbow up. Just kind of listening to what it is that your body needs after this practice. 2 more breaths. Inhale, slide the right hand back in front of the face. Press up and out through the wrist and shoulder. Take that left arm out to the side and then release the left hand down. Hips back to the heels. Child's pose. 5 breaths. Two more breaths, releasing the hips back, lengthening through the spine here. You can walk the fingertips forward more if you like. 1 more breath. Inhaling and looking forward, bringing yourself into Pranamasana. just sliding yourself onto your stomach, bringing the hands underneath the face, turning your head to one side. 5 breaths. You can relax it here, or you can come into half frog by bringing the right hand in front of the face, taking the left hand back to the top of the left foot, knee pointing down, and drawing the heel in towards the buttocks. Just doing whatever feels right for you. So either you're resting in pranamasana, or you're releasing the quads here, switching to the opposite side. Left arm comes forward, reaching the right hand back, top of the right foot, knee stays pointing down, drawing the heel into the buttocks. You can release the head down. And releasing. If pranamasana is comfortable for you, lying on your belly, you can choose to stay here. Or you can make your way into Parsva side lying position, rolling onto your side, keeping the bottom leg straight and crossing the top leg over and allowing the torso to roll forward here, supporting the head with the arms and the hands. Or if you like a more traditional resting posture, then coming into Shavasana, rolling onto your back, extending the left foot out towards the left corner of the mat, and extending the right foot out to the right corner of the mat, tucking the shoulders under. Palms are facing up or down with the arms out to the sides. You decide what feels right for you out of these 3 resting postures, either on your back, on your side, or on your front. You can also bring the legs into Supta Baddha Konasana here, if that feels right for you. You can always bend the knees with the soles of the feet on the floor, or you can take the feet as wide as the mat and allow the knees to fall in towards each other. Wherever you are, just making sure that the body is comfortable so that you can settle into stillness and experience rest and relaxation. So choosing the position that feels right for you. And just allowing yourself to come back into that natural, easy rhythm of the breath, being aware of the inhales and the exhales. Inhaling all the way up to the top of the inhales, and exhaling all the way down to the bottom of the exhales. And just remembering your intention from the beginning of the practice and just repeating that intention to yourself 3 times in the present tense as if it has already happened or manifested within your life. Breathing life into that intention so that you can carry that intention with you out into the world and truly live your intention. Being aware of the inhales and the exhales, the in-breaths and the out-breaths. Allowing the body to settle and sink. It's as if the body is being cradled right in the lap of the earth. If sensations in the body begin to arise, bring the awareness back to the breath. If thoughts begin to clutter the mind, bring the awareness back to the breath. If any feelings or emotions begin to take over, bring the awareness back to the breath. Allowing yourself to let go of distractions. Full awareness on the breath, counting the breaths if you need to. Allow each and every breath to guide you deeper into stillness, relaxation, and rest. Five more conscious breaths. Whenever you feel ready, inviting movement into the fingers and the toes, circling the wrists and the ankles, stretching the arms and the legs, gently turning the head from side to side, moving and stretching the body in any way that feels right for you. Taking your time, there is no rush. And if you're on your front, you can press yourself back into child's pose. If you're on your side, just staying where you are. And if you're on your back, maybe drawing the knees into the chest one at a time, eventually making your way onto your side. And then using your arms for support, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seated position, whether that's sitting in Virasana or sitting cross-legged in Sukhasana or Siddhasana, you choose. And once you're there, just resting my hands on either the thighs or the knees, palms facing up or down, just allowing the arms to relax and drop from the sockets, chin is parallel with the floor. You're rooted through your pelvis, lengthening through the spine, crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling, settling back into that rhythm of the breath. Two more inhalations and exhalations. And then taking the arms nice and wide out to the sides, bringing the palms together at the top, and exhaling the hands to the heart in Anjali Mudra, palms touching, thumbs gently grazing over the breastbone. And we'll seal our practice and your intention with a breath in or a breath out, or you can Om, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And so just preparing with a breath in and out. And inhaling and exhaling Om. Giving gratitude, blessings, and thanks for this practice, for this day, and for this life. This practice of hips and hamstrings is complete. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you all for joining me. I wish you a wonderful and healthy day, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Namaste.